looks like. Who knows? Do I have to add you guys? You add yourselves. Good times.
There he goes.
Dave, your ship is sinking.
Yeah, I know. I got to get a stand for this thing.
What is
it just here? Let's do this.
What is?
Then you guys can see my messy background. We'll go that route.
We're live, I guess. I have no idea. Could be on YouTube. Who knows? Podcasters Roundtable resurrected. Wait. We're going through?
Did somebody get a Rodecaster?
So that obviously means the Rodecaster is sitting here in front of me.
Yeah, I'm going to say I noticed.
I can't stop being funny. You can with the Rodecaster, you'll never not be funny. Okay?
All right.
That's what I'm looking for.
Womp, womp.
That's Dave's button. It actually came from the factory. It says Dave on it. So
I can't find the remote to my lights. I'm sitting here in the dark.
Yeah, we can.
And I found out that you cannot turn the lights on with the fan remote. That does not work. Even if you point it at the lights, it just nothing.
You know, coincidentally, or ironically, because you wouldn't expect it, my fan remote turns on my lights. So
look at that.
You know, it's all in. Let's just mess around with
here we go.
Stuff. StreamYard. I'm not exactly happy about this, but we're checking it out. I should check out the YouTube.
And also down at the bottom where we are, if you like, you can do that. You can solo you, but let's say we wanted to solo Daniel. Down on his little button, you got a button where you can do that.
Now it won't do it like Hangouts won't. How's my audio level, by the way? Because the audio meters in this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I sit.
Ray, honestly. You're low, I guess, compared to myself and Dave. I was going to say Dave is loud, but hearing myself, I'm loud.
I have some perpetual issue that exists when I put audio to the internet live that it's always low. Doesn't matter. I have the same damn gear as everyone else.
Yeah, I've got someone in Podcaster Society saying that every time they record with Squadcast, their audio on Squadcast is way too loud.
I don't see Ray's quiet podcastage. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, the fader. Let's see. I can just put the fader all the way up, but that's not good. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
No, we have comments.
I think the Rodecaster. Dave, are you going through a Rodecaster?
I'm going through a Mix Pre 6 right now, but I am dusting off the Rodecaster for tomorrow.
I feel like there's some kind of attenuation going on because even when I put it into the DAW, it seemed a little lower than it should have been.
And currently we're staring at Daniel.
Yeah, sure. Now this thing won't do automatic change.
No.
Come on, guys.
That's
It gives me like every other option except it won't switch cameras for me.
But you probably don't have it installed. Their screen sharing is pretty cool.
I see screen sharing.
It's going to ask you to install a whatever thing.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to. I don't have anything to show. Everyone's saying or some people are saying my mic's really low, but I don't know what to tell you. Unless there's some controls in here, I can switch. But
if you're on the Rodecaster Pro, just
move your volume
fader
up.
Dude, the fader is up. I'm telling you, I can bring up the gain. We'll do all the things. I'm just gonna crank the gain.
Yeah,
here.
Did you set your gain on the Rodecaster Pro?
What? Yeah, it's automatic. I mean, it's a Rode mic. Now it's just whistling, man.
You set it to the Rodecaster or the Rode.
So here's the problem. You can't. Here's one issue that I have is you can't. Well, yeah, I guess I can blend your volume with my volume. I need mine. No, because there's no control of output for you guys versus like mine.
Can I talk about the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to fix this.
We got dumped?
No, in certain lighting, it looks like I have a Hitler mustache. I don't know why. This is not turning gray.
I'll die. You're going to go the opposite way, right?
I either need
to die gray.
Yeah.
But you're like Silver Fox. That's like the thing, right? So
except for this one spot. I just need to walk around like this, like I'm thinking all the time.
Let me know if the audio changes because I took off the disabled audio.
Yeah, you're louder now.
So StreamYard is doing. So I disabled the audio processing because why would I want them to do audio processing? But apparently they need it because they're going to boost it up to level all our audio. So I assume both of you guys have your audio processing off or something. Or on.
StreamYard. Oh,
See what I mean? David of Jackson.
Date off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dave,
If you now
Dave
click on
of-
that, click on that thing.
Right, I can
the
show.
Isn't that fun? Little Bandrew.
I do
That's
like it. This
hilarious.
is the old Google Hangouts lower third, if you recognize that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Circle, and it's pretty much two double color. I mean, it's a pretty standard lower third. So anyways, we're back after being dumped by Google. I'm still not over the breakup. We're seeing if we can do something. Now, this is the free version. Dude, this thing is so sibilant because it's up so damn high. Like, oh my God, it's like whistling on my S's, which I don't have generally sibilant.
Oh,
ones.
turn off the de-esser. Yes, their
I don't have the
de-esser.
de-esser on.
Oh, wow. Or
I should turn it on, apparently.
No, the other one. The not the big bottom.
The oral exciter.
Yeah, turn that thing off.
Yeah, that thing is whistling the top, probably.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's on, to be honest with you. It probably is. I usually don't. Yeah, it's got. Let's turn that off. Let's see. It's a big bottom only. I'm gonna put the de-esser on, actually.
Oh, because I'm in it. That's why. I'm still. I'm trying to figure out how to add a comment, and I have to go out to YouTube to do that.
Oh yeah, I meant to check if we're even on. Oh, view on YouTube. Okay, we got a little thing. So I can't go to YouTube. Oh, wait, will this take me away? Well, I can't go to.
You can, Ray. You can probably add a comment. I can't because I'm just a co-host.
We can't broadcast to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. At the same time, because I had to do two different broadcasts.
Oh, I do that not through StreamYard. You have to use restream.io, which is also free.
This.
Yeah.
You know, you got the Rodecaster in here. I'm probably going to buy it because it's obviously amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Crowned best podcast gear of 2019, hands down. And, you know, one of the reasons that it's so wonderful is that it takes away, I got to get this and that and plug this into that thing and that thing. And now I'm just going to have to do that with software.
Yeah, it removes the phrase mix minus. Because
it's in there. It does say mix minus. So
my favorite though is as soon as I have somebody that says I'm gonna end up interviewing people over the phone. I did Rodecaster. That's right there, Rodecaster.
This is a hard sell for noobs because they don't understand.
Right.
But eventually they're gonna want to piece all this stuff. It's like, is it worth?
What do they not understand?
They don't understand that the investment is worth it.
Okay. Investment, yes. I was thinking understand as in the technology. And that's what I like about the Rodecaster Pro is that it has all the technology that you don't have to understand. Like you don't have to understand a mix minus. It just does it.
Right.
Yeah, the word is somewhere buried in there.
You have to understand a little bit because if you don't enable the word mix minus, you won't get what you're trying to get.
Oh, over the USB, right. Right.
Yeah.
But the TRRS and the Bluetooth are automatically mix minus.
Now, I assume you can do mix minus to all of those at the same time.
Yeah. This is how like nobody would ever do.
Low and Dave's really loud. I don't know what's going
on. I can turn me down.
Did you turn on or off your processing?
I turned mine off.
Yeah, that's why. So when you turn off the processing, it takes a dump in level because StreamYard boosts with its processing, probably compression.
I mean, if we wanted to, I could actually have somebody on the phone, like an actual phone call on this.
Right. That's what I mean.
I could contact via my iPad and get on somebody on Zoom and then connect to somebody on my computer via USB on Skype, and they would all hear each other. Right. Now, you're never going to do that. But the fact that you can is like, okay, it makes that pretty easy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do more than one remote,
yeah,
you are going to do multiple devices. I bought a TRS to TRS cable today because who has that? That needs to be included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Include that cable, Rode. That's the only, I mean, in my review, anything that I list as a negative will be completely just because I'm scratching and deep
something you need
for
to
negatives.
think about with the TRRS cable, which is loud. For plugging into your phone. I'm loud, you're saying?
No, I'm loud to myself because I can't adjust. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the TRRS cable, make sure you're getting one that will work with your phone case if you don't want to have to take your phone out of your case. Because I've got one of these cases. This is a Olo Clip studio case for the old iPhone 6s.
I was gonna say, who has a TRS input on their phone anymore though?
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah, if
your
you've got the
adapter
lightning
sticks way out
adapter,
beyond the case.
yeah, then you don't have to worry about it. But like with my plug, it's got this extra little
Sure.
sleeve extension or something to it, so it works nicely and plugs all the way in without my having to take my case off or just really squeeze it in there.
Only people that have that is Daniel and every Android user. No, I don't know. I don't know what Android users have.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the one thing that I go, but it was cool. I was at NAB and I was talking to Captain Road or whatever his name was, Mr. Road, and I said, I've like had the gain all the way up, had the volume all the way up, and I was getting up to maybe -6. Like it does not let you record. Like for me, I could be between -12 and -6. And I said, now I know there's no master volume. I go, is there some sort of like, master limiter behind it? And the guy said, so let me get this straight. You can't record bad audio with this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be above that. Yeah.
And I went, okay, I get your point. And I go, so there's something. And he just kind of went like, yeah, of course there is. I'm like, okay.
Those
And it's not
values are analog days. Those are, you wanted to get highest gain so you could separate that gain. But when the digital, you don't. You -18, your noise floor is going to be just the same when you bring it up if you're recording at minus.
Well, that's the thing. I bring it in. First thing I do is go in and jack it up a little bit, and we're good to go. And that way I don't have to ride the fader so much or whatever. But are we at Podcasters Roundtable /live, or where are we? Do we know where we're at?
Oh, good question. No, we're just on YouTube. So
okay, because is it YouTube, your YouTube channel?
It's YouTube Podcasters Roundtable.
Okay.
Long, but clarification: are we going to publish anything we're saying right now?
Probably not.
Okay.
Why? Are you can you say something good?
No, I just was.
Daniel's still really low.
I don't like. We didn't really do an efficient opening.
We're
not back. This is test. This is just literally hanging out.
I can't talk unless I have an outline, guys.
All right, everyone, tell us how the audio is compared to each other, because what I'm hearing is me way too loud in my own ear because of how this works.
I think Daniel is quiet.
Daniel seems quiet.
Ray, do I seem quiet compared to Dave?
Yes, that's why that's the only thing I have to judge on.
Dave,
I don't judge myself.
Audio processing turned on.
Let me see if I go to my settings.
Their audio processing is probably similar to what Hangouts
On-Air
did.
So I need to turn that off?
Well, because that's keeping your level up.
Okay.
So I'll turn mine back on.
Yours should be on. Basically, you should not turn that off. Because it sounds like you have to send. You would have to. I don't even know if you can send. I had faders full up, and people were saying it's still kind of low. So Daniel's the lowest of the two. So because you switched yours off, right?
Well, I just now, I turned it back on though. So now
but diagnosing the issue, that is the issue. When you disable the processing, everyone's saying Daniel's quiet. Obviously you aren't now, but Ray and Dave are rather equal. When I was quiet, if you're on StreamYard, apparently don't disable the audio processing.
Yeah,
because they're adding compression and bringing everyone up.
Have you as long as we're just chit chatting and stuff, have you noticed on the Rodecaster Pro that your own channel not only can make you sound loud, but make it sound like you're clipping? Or is that just my voice?
You cut out. What was it? On what?
On the Rodecaster Pro, have you noticed where listening to yourself live, it will sound like you're clipping your own audio?
No. I mean, this is the first time I've used it in this kind of setup. Okay. Or you just mean monitoring in general?
Monitoring in general.
Because I don't run it that hot. So, no, I don't notice it sound like I'm clipping. It's possible that your headphone amp is... I mean, the headphone amp seemed really clean, but I mean, as far as clipping goes, I don't think I've heard that issue.
What was it with mine? I think... See, I try to set all of my levels. So there's that tick mark on the Rodecaster Pro.
Which in theory is 0.
Yeah, that's...
On an analog.
Whatever that is. That's about where I set all of my levels for. Like just right now, where I just now said, while I'm talking right now, it's kind of sounding like I'm clipping. But I think I found something like if I turn my headphone volume up, that's what it was. If my headphone volume is too low, maybe it's only my voice, but it makes it sound like I'm clipping. But if I turn my headphone volume up, then I hear my voice more. I hear my voice properly.
Right.
It doesn't sound like it's clipping, but then my voice gets too loud in my ears.
Yeah. I
Maybe
haven't
it's only
noticed it
my
yet.
voice.
Maybe.
See, I'm using the high pass filter, but none of the other settings.
So hopefully, I mean, honestly, I'd rather just use the free. It sounds like, well, right now, I guess StreamYard is not limiting the free. Obviously, they're going to limit. Kenny Troiano, I don't know how to say it. He says he sounds like he's saying he's noticed that too. You know what I've noticed, and is maybe the most interesting thing that I've noticed since I've gotten this Rodecaster into my office here, is that the incredible number of people who have bought this in our circles, because everyone's being like, "Oh, I love using mine." And that never happens with a piece of gear. People are always like, "Please tell me about it," and they have questions. This one, no one asks questions because their comment is, "I love it. I'm using it." It's like a lot of people drop $600.
I don't know from whose recommendation it was, but I saw that someone in my church started their own podcast. They've never talked to me. They may have searched my site. I don't know, but they've never talked to me about it. And I'm not offended by that, by the way. But they posted a photo of they and their friends sitting around a Rodecaster Pro. I thought, that's cool. Yeah. Where did you hear that that's crazy. The gear to get?
Yeah, there's some good marketing going on for sure. But I mean, it's this group. We're a cheap group, but everyone has suddenly dropped $600. Like, it just must be like, honestly, I think it's the telephone thing, man. People are just like, what? I can make a telephone. I can bring a telephone in. I'll buy it. Like, even everyone's got the dream of the call-in show. Even if you're not doing call-in show, everyone thinks that's a great idea. Or, it's probably just the effects.
Well, they went through, because that was the one. For me, I had multiple shows. So every time I did a different show, I had to delete all the sound effects and drag on new ones. And I haven't played with this yet, but from what I understand now, you can have multiple configurations. And I was like, oh, done. The fact that I don't have to pull the little SD card out anymore, done. So they really went through and checked most of the boxes that I had any kind of,
they've made a perfect piece of gear, pretty much. I mean, like, I've got a list of things I'd like to see, but it's just it's a no-brainer. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to tell people, hey, buy this. It's $600 when they're starting. They don't have to. Yeah. But if you go through those questions, like, what do you want to do? Well, I want to have more than one person. You probably want multi-track. You're ever going to want to bring in a person online. It's just, man, even for this, I've always had to do multiple setups. Like, sometimes I even forget, like, it was so convoluted how I used to set this up. And one of those things was to be able to record it high quality. I routed things all over the place to capture you guys separate and me separate, but still stream, mix minus, all that stuff, right? Now I just press a damn button.
Well, that's the other thing.
And I record natively. And then this, of course, online is my backup. Although, I assume, wait a minute. Oh,
yeah,
I guess
it's being recorded.
Because of YouTube. But does StreamYard record natively?
Mm-mm.
Can you do StreamYard by itself, or do you have to broadcast to somewhere? Right? Can I just invite? I can just watch. Can I just
You have to broadcast.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So they're not.
But you could. I guess you could set up. There is a test mode where you can set it up.
Nobody can watch that.
To go to nobody. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty slick.
If you wanted to record, then Squadcast would be the option for that. Now, if Squadcast added StreamYard like streaming abilities, that would be really cool.
Yeah, because I think the closest match to this is a Zoom H6, but that doesn't record and stream at the same time. Like, you can be a USB interface or a recorder. You can't do both.
No, I mean, the MixPre was the next level. But
that's true. MixPre would be.
It's not what they are. Those are field recorders. Yeah, technically it's an interface, and you can mix minus on. But this is what this is for. It's for broadcast.
Well, and they even came up, because now it used to be if you played like your outro, you couldn't see how long you had before your outro was out.
Yeah, it's cool.
They fixed that in the last update, and I was like, everything that I was like, oh, that's not going to work. They're like, nope, done, checked.
Yeah, and most of those things that were I mean, I thought multi-channel for me was required at a 600 price point. Everything else was just UI and features. So, and I mean, it's beautiful. Like the touchscreen is beautiful. I mean, it just the fact that touchscreen, period. Just having a touchscreen is very simple. The menu, it's definitely not a Sony camera. You have to go in the menu. It's a Canon. That's a video joke.
I gotta say,
Daniel gets it. Daniel gets it completely.
Well, I haven't actually used the Sonys yet.
But he gets the joke.
Yeah, I get the joke. Yes, I haven't experienced.
It's true. The jokes are true. Cool. Well, we've been gone for quite a while.
I cut the umbilical cord. I don't have a mixer anymore. I don't have my Zoom H4 in that I used for recording. I do still have the Mix Pre, but I have listed that for sale, by the way, if anyone's looking to buy one.
What are you using?
The Rodecaster Pro.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I right now I'm using the the sound devices Mix Pre. I love that because it doesn't take up half my desk.
I was gonna say I don't get rid of the Mix Pre because it's I can shove it in a bag and it's completely different use for me. I mean, like if I go into the field and the whole point is if I'm just capturing, if we're just gonna sit down and have a conversation, I'm gonna record, I'm gonna use a Mix Pre.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something I thought about is how likely will I actually do something like that? Well, not very likely. If I'm going to record something, then I go ultra portable and I would either use a microphone plugged into my iPhone and just point the microphone back and forth interview style, or I would take something like a Zoom H1 and do the same thing, microphone back and forth interview style.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all personal. Like I don't think that the quality of those things match, but if it's just, if you don't need one channel,
right,
you can make it match. What, we've been gone a long time. Well, this show's been gone. You guys have been around
a few weeks.
At least it's been nice. I almost didn't come back. I was like, this is nice. This is nice. Podcasting is well covered. That's like well covered.
Somebody asked in the chat room, is there a travel case? Yes, you can buy them, of course.
Yeah.
There's a couple on B&H I saw that people are coming out with them now.
And
what's weird is when they sent me mine, they had like this cool
the backpack.
like backpack thing. And I'm like, I should be selling that. That thing was awesome. And I'm not sure why they're
I'm surprised they don't sell it.
Yeah, because it works pretty decent. Because I packed mine up to I went to DC last week and somebody wanted to see it. And I'm like, I'll just bring it with me. And it was a handy little, I have one of those
too. This is a tank.
It's a
thing is a
microphone.
Tank. I've never felt them. I have an SM7B back here. This is heavier.
Yeah,
this is over 2 pounds. It's over 2 pounds. This thing is insane.
What did you think of it?
Double mic. I literally have not put my voice through it yet because I'm using the Procaster here, which is the first time I've used this, and I really wanted to use this for a long time. Like I'm a huge fan of this, although it is very it's very susceptible to plosives. I'm finding it seems like. Other than that, I love it. I think this is on my recommendation for the best sort of broadcast style mic that sort of fits. What is this, like $199 maybe or something? At this price point, it's the best mic I think in its class, but it's also a tank, and you can see how big it is. Like it's ridiculously big.
Was a company, Dave, did you talk to a particular company about a new studio microphone that's coming out?
Oh yes.
Is that public?
They
pulled it out from under the table to show a prototype.
Yeah, but we couldn't hear it.
But they didn't say, don't tell anyone about this.
Yeah,
so I'm just not sure if we can say anything.
Well, I think it's fine because there's no date. It's just like, hey, we're working on this.
Yeah. And they probably brought it to get feedback from people at Podcast Movement.
I mean, you can't show it. Essentially, you are essentially in public, and they expect it for everyone. If they didn't tell you to not tell people, the guy like pull it out from under. He's like,
without saying the company name, there's a company that's familiar in the podcasting space that is working on a studio microphone, studio quality, like Procaster level, RE320 level microphone that will have both XLR and USB.
Right.
And
hey, Ray.
They used to call that the podcaster, but no, that was just USB. Never mind.
Yeah.
What?
Rick, did I tell you that my my mic stand is made by Samson? This has nothing to do with Daniel was talking about, but anyway, if I told you my microphone stand is made by Samson,
Is it? How do you spell that?
Samson. This is the
That's a cool company. I mean, that company
knockdown
makes
14.
mics once in a while. Yeah, I've
they
heard of
do
them.
on occasion, yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's exciting. If you ever go to the Electro Voice booth, there's a guy there that invented this microphone, and he will tell you the entire history of every nut and bolt in the microphone.
What are you on?
This is the RE320. You can barely see it.
Oh yeah, I can't see it.
But this Larry, I think if I remember, it was super nice guy. Rick, yes, I knew it was something rare. They're similar. Rick, Larry, easy to get confused. And really nice guy. Gave me the entire history of the cardioid molybdenum magnet or something. Yeah, I was like, wow.
Neodymium.
Yeah,
magnet,
I think that's
lava,
it. Yeah, so
Himalaya.
what have you been up to?
Enjoying not
doing a podcast.
Not doing a podcast.
I was thinking something like that. I think just last night or the night before, I was driving in the car, catching up on my podcast about podcasting, and thinking, I miss the audacity to podcast, but there is also this aspect of it's kind of nice to not have all of that work, because I put a lot of work into every episode of that podcast, but I miss doing it. But it's also nice not doing it. And the show will come back, so don't worry, anyone who's thinking like I'm quitting that show. It will come back eventually. Still juggling things right now.
Eric says Ray's working on his YouTube videos. I don't even know if that's happening much, but yeah, I think I did publish one. This will be the road will be a YouTube video at some point, although there's so many of them out there. It's
right.
I'll cover there's a lot of stuff I'm not seeing people talk about, so I'll definitely talk about that. But
I've got all of those interviews I recorded from Podcast Movement. I think 14 interviews with different vendors. And what's holding me up on them is the video branding. I mean, now that my website is my new branding, matching the podcast cover art, which has been there for 2 years, I really don't want to use my old video branding for these new videos. So I'm in this place where I feel like I have to make this new video branding before I can put out these video interviews from Podcast Movement, which really bums me, because there were a couple vendors who, when I asked them what's new, they asked me, well, when are you going to release this video? Because they wanted to be able to include something based on when I'd released the video. So there's stuff that's missing from a couple of these videos that could have been included, but because I'm not getting these videos out in time, or didn't know it would take this long, it's missing.
The Beauty Bubble wants to know, have you ever built a podcast equipment from scratch or out of a hobby box? I'm not sure.
If it counts, these acoustic panels, these big black obelisks.
Yeah, both you guys did that.
I built them myself.
Yeah, podcast equipment. No, I've never built a mic or a mixer.
Nah.
Nothing you're going to actually podcast with. I did repair. I saw a soldered something the other day. It's you can't settle that debate, by the way. I have gone to the expert of experts on that, and they don't agree. So you gotta pick your poison on the solder.
It's one of those niches that folks will debate over.
Yeah, way debate. I went far on that one. Just trying to get it right. But no, that's a comment about the Procaster or the Rodecaster, whatever. Dude, all the casters, I can't keep it straight. I keep
that's it. Or the Rodes. Pretty soon they're just gonna have a thing called the Road or the Cast Road, the Cast Road Rodecaster Pro.
.rcp.
Yeah.
On my text expander that automatically expands out Rodecaster Pro with all the proper capitalization and the little line through the O.
This is what Adam Curry tried to build. So speaking of building your own, they built it. In fact, who's to say they didn't see that and be like, oh, we can actually make that on a very commercial scale. Adams was still very DIY. He tried to make it commercials, but it was, the hard part about not having a big company behind you is that it costs too much.
Yeah.
Well, Adam's approach was do one thing really well.
Right. He refused to. Unlike Rode, who was willing to iterate the firmware and update to all these things that we said we'd also like to see. They turned on a dime where Adam was like, no, you don't need multi-channel, so not getting it. Which is tough. I mean, I wanted to see it succeed for sure because of Adam and because it was a cool product, but that's hard. That's another reason why I wouldn't be in the business of building my own stuff and trying to sell it. It's tough.
What I'm looking forward to is like next year's. Next year's what? When is February? When is August?
February is next year.
Yeah, but the next podcast movement, the next big podcast movement, I guess we'll call it
the regular one.
I'm going to be interested to see like what Tascam and Zoom and some of these other companies go. That seems to be gangbusters over there.
It will be. They'll come out with some cheap version. Tascam has a cheap version of this, and it looked interesting, but it's only.
Oh, that's right. The little white thing.
Yeah. When you pull out the Rodecaster, you're like, holy cow. Yes. I mean, the form factor, everything about it is impressive. Looks good, feels good, works good. Like, it's not something that's no one's gonna compete with this for years, other than Rode themselves. They really won't. Like,
I forgot about it. If you think about that, Tascam was really one of the first people to take a crack at this that was geared towards podcasters, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Yamaha did that AG03 and AG06 mixer. That was kind of an attempt, but that didn't have internal sound effects.
Do you
right, Hank?
Have you both tried both of these?
I've tried.
This one's brighter, right? The pod mic is brighter than the Procaster.
Yeah, it cuts off the bass. It's got a built-in, almost like a.
Yeah, it's the frequency.
For me, I didn't notice it until I plugged in another mic. It's pretty mid-heavy, but it's meant for the human voice, which is so it's kind of it's one of those cases where if you have a Samsung Q2U, an ATR 2100, a pod mic, none of those microphones are really like you're going to go home and go, oh, that sounds horrendous. I think they all sound pretty decent. With a little EQ and post, you can fix it. But
everything is personalized to your voice, and meaning that they're all going to be different, as everyone knows. But it's the law of diminishing returns at this point. Like, we got $50 microphones that sound like $300 microphone. I mean, like, pick your poison. Like, you can really match your budget to, you know what? I just really love the way this looks. Like, you know what I mean? It's pick what you want, but the mics are all going to sound 99% of your audience is not going to pick out the difference.
No, they're not.
That you're deciding between at all. So pick the mic that you want. Is really what it comes down to.
Everyone I've heard who's used the pod mic, I've not liked the sound of their voice on the pod mic compared to any other mic that they've tested it against.
I got an idea. I'm going to switch it in real time. Not that my audio is coming through. I don't know how it's coming through. What?
You're so crazy.
It's so crazy. We're living on the edge, man. Living on the edge.
I was trying to. Oh, that's right. It's in my backpack. I was going to switch out to a Rodecaster. So,
problem with these buttons, I mean, these are not something I've really used. Is that they're here and you just want to touch them.
I like the fog air horn, whatever it is.
Air horn? Oh, that's Dave. The Dave button.
No,
I mean the like soccer.
You mean the rim shot?
I love that. That's a great one.
Yeah, you remember. Dave loves a good rim shot. You just leave that. Let that lie. All right, I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to change microphones here. So,
okay, that's right. You can mute yourself.
Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Well, Daniel, you go to town. I'm going to switch to my pod mic.
Well, I'm going to point out that I finally switched my shock mount from my RE320. The guy from Electro Voice was like, yeah, you've had your RE320 in that high PR40 shock mount for long enough. We're going to help you out there. So in full disclosure, Electro Voice gave me the shock mount, but it's nice to finally have it. And I've noticed something nice about it is that it no longer has the shadow from one of my studio lights, because my studio light is right there. This is my mic stand. And so the studio light is pointing directly at me now through this hole in the shock mount. So now I don't have that shadow on my face. And now I can see the light. I don't know that song. That was a bad attempt at doing something horrible. I still have this stack of business cards from Podcast Movement. You guys scan stuff like this into Evernote, something like that. I need to follow up with some of these people, email them about their videos when I publish their videos. And a sticker.
That's what I do with mine. I scan them into Evernote.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten around to that yet.
So this is one of those words like, does it sound that different? It's been 10 minutes since Dave had his microphone on. We don't really know the difference, and I will give credit to Samson, because right now this arm is not working the way it's supposed to. Like I have to kind of almost use the cable to position the mic, which is why I'm somewhat out of frame. Here we go.
I do you gotta like the form factor, man. I think the form factor is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is me on the pod mic. I don't know if it sounds any different.
Dave,
Actually,
which one did you switch to?
Sounds good.
I switched to the pod mic.
Okay.
We both went to pod mics. I have processing on, so it's the same processing that was on this microphone though. So this is not really how this mic sounds, but it sounds good to me. It is a little brighter, I guess. I'm not hearing a whole lot of difference. And through the stream, you probably won't hear a whole lot of difference. But
now, did you make the setting in the channel that you're using a pod mic?
Oh, I didn't switch. You're right. It is on probably still Procaster. So you're right. As I go, I'll do this real time. Microphone switch, Rode Procaster, Rode pod. Wait for it. Wait. Holy cow. Where did everything go?
Wow, your bottom end went away.
That's the bottom. My everything went away. I don't hear anything.
What were you on before?
Procaster.
Okay.
Weird. Let's see if it took away. No, it's all the processing is still like something happened. It went away in my ears, basically.
Yeah, you lost some volume, that's for sure.
I lost a lot of stuff, which is very weird. Maybe it didn't really handle this switch in real time.
It blew its mind.
It may have reset the gain.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things it changes.
That would make sense.
Because I've heard of, well, I probably shouldn't say anything. But one of the things that those different buttons, those different mic settings do on the Rodecaster Pro is that they also automatically adjust the gain ideal to those mics.
All right. It definitely, so every default preset goes to 35 on the gain, whatever that means. That's what it goes to.
Oh, okay.
And I had bumped to the Procat because I was low in here on the stream. I was trying to bump it, but not that was necessary because it was the processing turned off. That was the actual problem. But I brought it back up to 45. So
yeah, Bandaroo says the gain gets changed due to the presets, and the EQ is different for each of the mic presets.
Yeah, it's the 35. Yeah.
I haven't played. Have they added anything? Because one of the things they said in the release was we've also made steps to make it sound better. And I was hoping that like we had a little control over the big bottom and the oral exciter. Like, can we make it not so excited for the oral exciter? And I don't know if they've changed any of that. I wasn't sure what they meant by that, if they were just throwing that on for fun to say.
I updated. Oh, that must be what the extra option is here, because if I type in, if I go to my channel and then I go to advanced and then I go to, it says oral exciter and then there's a switch for oral not so exciting. So that must be the not so exciting must be. I'm kidding. Well, it's a really long told bad joke. There's no change. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Rodecaster Pro is set up to be user-friendly, and the whole idea is that if you're not an audio engineer, you don't have it's just easy to use. What they called it Pro. So
it's a good point.
I'm gonna need the Pro features because it literally has Pro in the name. So yes, some control. So for the Pro, and it does. You can drill down a little bit in terms of tweaking. So I guess on the like the advanced settings. The oral exciter, the big bottom. It'd be nice to be able to a little less, a little more of that would be nice. The compressor, stuff like that. The compressor brings up the noise floor too much.
We almost got Bandrew. He says, I almost ran to check my Rodecaster. He was looking for the oral
the oral not so exciting.
Yeah. The mildly attentive
Yeah.
exciter. Yeah.
The oral, never mind.
Yeah.
Oral.
Now, Daniel, which one do you prefer? I myself am a little claustrophobic
I prefer
because
big bottom.
like I actually prefer that where everybody goes 16:9, that setting versus
Oh, on the video.
yeah.
I almost
Now
passed
I
out
have
with that
I
move.
have some
Yeah,
room.
if it's 3 or 4, I prefer this way. If
This
it's only
is-
2, I prefer split down the middle.
This is
Yeah.
way too Brady Bunch for me.
Have you seen where let's on a completely non-podcast related, if you're watching HGTV bought
Yes.
the Brady Bunch house and they got all 6 Brady kids, including Cindy, to participate because she's always, or Jan, one of those two are always like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm too good for the Bradys. And they paid like $3 million for that thing or something like that. And they're actually trying to make the Brady house, which was never the Brady house. It was just the front that they took a picture of. And they're gutting the whole thing and turning it into the Brady house. And I'm sure the neighbors are like, oh, great. Now this will be even more of a tourist trap. Can't wait for that.
They did the same thing. Actually, it was Ace Hardware went and bought the Christmas Story house and redid
In Cleveland.
Yep. It redid it as the Christmas Story. And
every year, man, you can take a tour.
That was brilliant when it did. Now it's just sort of a ripoff. Like,
right. Yeah.
We'll make the Brady house. So next, Leave It to Beaver. You got to get these people for their dead, though. So better hurry up. Actually, so the dad, Leave It to Beaver, I think, has lost maybe both the parents. Billingsley and Hugh Beaumont. I remember these.
Look at you,
dude. I was hardcore Beaver fan. That's not the team. I'm not from.
Take
Oregon,
that, Jonathan Oakes. Yeah, we've got Captain Trivia here.
Was it June? June was her name on the show. It's Barbara Billingsley. June. Bam, there it is.
There you go.
It's part of the theme song, so they built it in the real names. I just introduced my daughter to the Addams Family, and she's loving it. And like the original, the classics,
right?
Starting from the very first, because it hasn't showed up yet, so I'm very excited for that. And
you spoke French,
yes. Then we'll go with the Munsters, but they're doing like an animated Addams Family movie, so I'm like, what perfect timing. This is good content, people.
It is
joining us.
This is joining stuff you don't normally get.
This is the after show.
The farthest back I've been going with TV recently is I recently resumed watching The X-Files. I didn't realize it was on Amazon Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
And I only got through, I think, season 5 and the first movie, and I hadn't continued after that. So I picked it up, and it's kind of cool.
I think Prime has like every classic TV show. I was looking at the other day because I actually was looking for the Addams Family and I couldn't find it. Now suddenly it's there. But here we go. Here's a question on screen. It is Friday the 13th.
It is.
Andrew wants to know what's your horror movie of choice today. Celebrate the 13th.
Anne of Green Gables.
I'm not watching any, but if I had to pick one, I mean the original Nightmare on Elm Street is very classic.
That is true. Halloween, when I saw the original Halloween, I checked my back seat for a good 2 weeks every time I got in my car.
I was on a podcast, it was like last year, and had nothing to do with podcast, into one of my shows, and it was like a movie review show, and I had to watch, I think maybe Hellraiser 2 or the original, I'm not sure, and I'd never seen Hellraiser. That's the one with the box and like it's pretty, the guy with the spikes in his head.
Yeah.
Actually, it was, for being a very cheesy old horror flick, it was kind of enjoyable. So that was fun.
Isn't it fun watching old movies from the 80s when they like bust out their, in some cases, I don't know if they had flip phones in the 80s, but like everything, like
they had the brick phone,
the technology and everything is like, oh, wow.
Christopher, just watching the X-Files, seeing the number of times they have to stop at a payphone in order to call the home office.
That's funny. Don't they just have, then how do they solve, didn't they just have walkie-talkies that could go like 40 miles? It's TV.
Sometimes, yeah.
Make it up.
Chris Nessie says, my kids love classic 80s cartoons. To bring this back to podcasting, I was listening to a show this week, and it was something like, remember the 90s or something like that. And so picture this, right? It's a podcast, and they're going to review either a TV show or a movie. And so host number one says, okay, today we're going to talk about this movie. Let's just pick an 80s movie, whatever, Back to the Future. Co-host number one, I'm co-host number two. Like, have you seen this movie? And co-host number one said, no. And I just felt like going, wait, so you guys said you're going to talk about this movie and you didn't do your homework and you still said, let's go ahead and record. I don't need to watch. It was just, that was one of those. I don't know what I'm going to call that, but that's going to be a segment of the School of Podcasting. I was going to call it.
You didn't do your homework. The dog ate my homework.
Yeah, because I was watching Monday Night Football, and they have a segment called "Come On, Man," and I thought maybe I'll borrow that.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I know.
Going off half cocked.
That could be. So I like you didn't do your homework or a homework assignment or something.
The dog ate my
homework. Haunting of Hill House. Ooh,
what's that from Heather? What's up, Juliet? We are truly just hanging out. I don't know if we've covered it. I mean, we've been talking about podcast gear. And look at this view. You can kind of see the mics a little better. You can see Dave's pod mic hanging up there and Daniel's new.
I know there was a new study that came out, and I was really shocked to hear that podcast listening is going up.
No way.
And I was like, really? Wow. And then more people are listening to it. I'm kind of like, it's almost like it's not news. That's a question we could talk. Why is everyone afraid that there's a podcasting peak? I hear this all the time. Is podcasting peaking? I'm like, the last time I checked, only 51% of people have listened to a single podcast. It means we've got 49% to go. I don't know why people are like, oh, I think we're peaking. And I'm like, the only thing I can think of is we are kind of a skeptical society. We don't believe things, or especially if things are going the right way. But you guys have any idea where this whole, like, is podcast peaking?
I think it's just a bubble experience. And we see this happen every so often, every couple of years. A lot of journalists have some sort of bubble experience with podcasting, and then that makes the rounds. And I think that's the thing lately, is this peak podcast idea is just this bubble that some journalists have gotten themselves into.
Yeah, I mean, it happens like Daniel was saying, every couple of years. It's just something to write about, and then people pair it. They see it and they freak out. There's nothing to freak about. I've actually said more than once that it might be good for podcasting to fail. And what I mean is that the draw, or what's left, is always like getting big advertisers and all these things that don't necessarily fit with podcasting, or aren't going to be the boon that people think they are, or that you may not want to invite the vampire into your house, so like, we're not going anywhere. Our audience isn't going anywhere. Like, if you have a good topic and you reach your audience, like, you don't need any of those things that we hear about, those fancy, flashy things that people are saying, oh, if only this happens, or this comes, or when podcasting really makes it. We don't need any of those things. Who needs those things? The 1% who have huge shows and want more sponsors. Like, so, that would be a failure. For that stuff not to happen, for Pepsi or someone not to join, would be a failure for most of these type of, takes on podcasting. And I'd be fine with that.
Well, Pepsi did sponsor for a short period. I remember Jay Moore had Pepsi as a sponsor. And so they've dipped their toe in the water once. So,
right.
Podcasting
failed. See? Pepsi's like, I'm out of here. It didn't work. I did one ad. Nobody was drinking Pepsi, which is weird, because they're not that's not the type of ad that's brand advertising. It's not the type that you see a return on. It's just keep your name out there.
Keep your name out there.
Yeah.
And for the record, this podcast is not brought to you by Pepsi.
No, I don't even like Pepsi. Pepsi suck.
Or Mountain Dew.
So, I'm not afraid of scaring our corporate sponsors. The thing is, if people understand podcast sponsorship, talking bad about your sponsor is not always a bad thing.
I just did a quick check, and we're averaging about 5,500 podcasts added to Apple Podcasts every week.
5,500 podcasts, have you said?
Yeah, per week.
Wow.
And so, are you tracking how many of? It'd be nice to know how many of those are active 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 16 weeks after they started.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What's the attrition rate? Like 5,000 join, 50 stay past
Well,
3
I
months.
think, yeah, it's a really big number that doesn't get beyond their first episode. So let me.
The first episode. So they put it probably like a trailer. It's probably not even the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm running this again without the 28-day threshold to see. Okay. Of podcasts that have, of all of podcasts in Apple Podcasts right now, 13.9% have only one episode. That's 104.5 thousand.
One episode. Wow.
Yeah.
So
13.7 have 2 to 3 episodes.
how much of an issue is that, do you guys think? This sort of wasteland that's being, right? I mean, and so all of those, whatever that number was, 100,000, they're all in the library. And like in theory, some of those have really good episode ones that someone might want to hear. But what do you think a directory, doesn't have to be Apple, it could be anyone, because, well, it's mostly Apple because a lot of directors are pulling for Apple. We've talked about this before on previous roundtables, but what do you think needs to be done, if anything, about, because that's going to add up, right? It's like trash on the side of the road. At some point, it's just going to pile up, and like, I don't know. What do you do about deciding when stuff gets taken out? I mean, obviously, it already exists that if the feed, right, if whatever it is, if the feed's not, if the feed's broken or something, right, if those people aren't maintaining the hosting on that, it will get taken down. I'm sure in a lot of cases, that's probably the case, right?
Yeah.
They probably opened up like a Libsyn account and then they don't pay for it. So that takes care of itself.
25.6 thousand podcasts have been removed from Apple Podcasts in the last 90 days. Now, removed for whatever reason. I don't have the reasons, but that could be technical. That could be violation.
I probably get about 2 a week for spam. And it's people that are not in the podcasting bubble. So they're not listening to Todd. They're not listening to Rob. They're not listening to us, saying you need to get your author tag is just your author tag, because it's almost always the author tag. And it'll be like, Dave Jackson, spam word, spam word, spam word, spam word. And they're just like, get out.
I think, answering your question, Ray, I think it could be cool if Apple Podcast did something where if you've published only one episode, they give you a certain number of months and then email you saying, hey, you've only published one episode ever. If you don't respond to this email, or if you don't publish a new episode, or if you don't go into your Podcast Connect account and click this button or something like that, if you don't take some kind of action, we're going to deactivate your podcast within 60 days or whatever. And then all it takes, though, for the podcast to reactivate their podcast is simply go into Podcast Connect and reactivate it. That could be kind of cool. And then that could clean up a lot of these. Well, they are mostly anchor shows
One and done.
Only one episode. And
shocking.
One and done. Which I think is fair. I mean, clearly someone tried it and it didn't stick. All right, cool. Yeah, that's the way. That's how I would deal with it. Send a message. One episode shows, given how many there are, send a thing, and it's not like more like a delist than even like a remove, right? Like they can easily come back, but you'll be delisted. So what?
Yeah, just deactivated.
Yeah.
Like all of those. Well, StreamYard is one, for example. I created a free StreamYard account, and I don't know if my account has been deleted or if it's been deactivated, but I got an email that said, hey, you haven't used your account in so many days. Simply log in to keep your account, or something like that. It could be something like that where it's a simple deactivation that then all you have to do to reactivate is simply log in or click a button or something like that.
Christopher, I put this right up here. I do love being able to put comments on the screen. I'm a huge, really love that. It's a great feature. But Christopher Nessie, he thinks it's amazing how many old and irrelevant podcasts are still accessible and hosting is still being paid for. I wonder by irrelevant, Chris, you can chime in what you mean by that, because that's a hard thing to sort of categorize. If you mean like something that is like we talked about, news that is just old, but even then, is it really irrelevant to someone who's looking for it? So old is not it's hard to say what. There's so much stuff on the internet that I'm like, man, I have this one really weird question that I'm going to dig to the bottom of the internet to find out. And thank goodness there is this old blog post that answered it. I had that question. I mean, for people who are searching, who know, you can't really say what's relevant, what's not.
Yeah, like It's a Wonderful Life, the movie. At what point should that be taken out of the libraries and taken out of circulation? Because it's such an old movie. And why don't we have a remake of it, by the way? They could do it in CG or something.
They have colorized it. I've seen that. They colorized it once.
Oh, actually, I like the colorized version better.
So Christopher says non-evergreen, outdated information. But again, that's relevant. It could be relevant to somebody. Like, I don't think that's enough because you just don't know. I mean, there's when I'm digging looking for a mic spec. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. This happens all the time. And I like go looking for a microphone and no, not a microphone, any piece of gear. And I'm trying to find information about the first time that piece of gear came out.
Yeah.
But you can only get the most recent. It's like, what did I look for just 2 days ago? I looked for when was some kind of microphone or something released. And it's just like, fortunately, there's a site called recordinghacks.com. And I had him on my podcast. He's amazing.
Yeah, really nice site.
Yeah, he's amazing. And so his site actually will then publish it links to the original announcement. Oh, I was looking for the ATR 2100. I was like, what year did the ATR 2100? And so I got close because Daniel has a video. And it's like 2012, but I was like, was that the first year? When was that? But I think you had one of the earliest videos that I could find, but 2011 is apparently when this thing was announced and came out from what I could find. But Recording Hacks linked to the original, Audio Technica, what do they call news release, basically.
Press release.
Saying, press release. We're announcing this microphone. I was like, oh, there it is. But kind of outdated, not really relevant, but it was there.
The first person I know of that I heard about that microphone was Father Roderick.
Yeah.
Roderick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a tough one. So, but I mean, I do like, Daniel, I do like your solution. I think is the best way to do it. It's the give your notification. And, if you're still there, you just come back online. Or, it happens all the time. I mean, you see all these services I think Skype, if you don't use your money, when you put money into Skype, it'll tell you if you don't make a phone call you're going to lose that money or whatever. So I just make my phone call to myself and I reactivate my Skype money that I never use.
Dave's getting out his fidget spinner. What can I pull out?
I'm sorry.
It just means he's done. Is this over yet? We're done hanging out. I mean, this works. So, I mean, I guess we could come back with StreamYard. And right now, the free version, a podcaster, I'm cheap. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Here's something else is for International Podcast Day coming up September 30th. Steve didn't even know that Hangouts On Air was gone. Yeah. So they're trying to figure out what to use. And it looks like they'll probably use StreamYard as well.
I mean, let's talk about what are the alternatives. I mean, StreamYard is new and they are the alternative. Like, outside of doing some janky stuff with your own setup like OBS or Wirecast, and I don't even know what you're doing. You're like screen capping or bringing in Skype. Like, it's a mess, right? Like, what are your alternatives?
Well, Ecamm Live software has some pretty cool abilities to automatically bring in your Skype video caller, but it's still a manual switching process, and you have to set up your screen. I think what we're seeing here with StreamYard is the new kind of wave of streaming tools that we'll see is not necessarily someone trying to make their own streaming platform like a Blab alternative. We've seen many companies come and go trying to do that with varying successes.
Yeah. But Chris Nessie says get Vocal, VOKL.
Yeah.
That's one I've played with, but for me, StreamYard's just a little bit ahead of Get Vocal. Mm-hmm. There was another one like video.me or something like that, or Get Video, or
I'm just not confident that anything's going to, I mean, Google couldn't make it work. Like, it wasn't, I mean, I realize the numbers for Google are probably really high for something to work for them, and it's got to serve ads essentially. But man, it was weird for them to leave a market where there was no alternative. I mean, fortunately, StreamYard came out. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of hope to get a little more response. I'm not impressed with StreamYard's attachment to the community, if you want to say that much. I don't know. It seems like two dudes.
I'll give him
just
credit.
doing
I mean,
that.
I've been using it for a couple months, and I had a weird thing on basically my router. It kept making me like drop or whatever, and it got weird. And they were super attentive. Like the one they contacted me before I contacted them,
That's
and they're
good.
like, is there anything on your side? Have you checked this? Have you checked that? So
Yeah, I tweeted more than once that I was like, Hangouts is gone. I don't know what the roundtable is going to be. I mentioned I'm like, StreamYard might be the answer, and never a response. I was like, those are the people you got to latch onto in the early days. Like, you need to set someone up to monitor social, and anyone who's talking about you, man, you need to be in. I mean, I think Blab was really good at that, and they were really mixing it up with all of us. If you were using Blab, I felt like Blab was connected to you. Which is cool. I thought that was really important. I think several people have mentioned Squadcast. Those guys, they're successful not only because they built probably the best product that for the double ender sort of recording thing, but they're in the community. They got it. They got right in there. They listened. They iterated on what we wanted. They're at all the conferences. You can easily get in touch with them. They're producing content. I mean, like, they understand what it is to be in the podcasting space and amongst the community. Well, I would like to see StreamYard, and maybe StreamYard is mixing it up in a different type of community.
Yeah,
But
maybe they're more on the
Nessie
YouTube.
said on and they have a Facebook group for StreamYard, and that there's life in that.
what is the main purpose of who? What's the main purpose of StreamYard? Like, who's this for? Gamers? It's not for gamers. It's for these. It's for multi-person conversations, right?
I think, yeah, and I think it's for maybe the marketer who wants to go on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and maybe Periscope or insert other many video platforms that I can't think of. And if you throw in Restream.io, it gets really powerful then, and then both those are free. And I was like, and what's cool is, like, on Saturday, like I have no following at Twitch whatsoever, but I still go to Twitch because it'll put the video up over there later, and it's just another backup for it. So I go to Twitch, I go to Facebook, and then I go to YouTube. And what's cool is it puts all the I think all the chats are in one, which makes life kind of easy.
As a community member, I do not like it when someone is streaming to multiple communities. If they're streaming only the video, that's one thing. But like if they're streaming on YouTube Live and there's a chat room there, and they're also streaming to Facebook and there's a separate chat room there, I don't like that, because then I feel like,
as long as if you're in both chat rooms, I'm okay.
well, as a community member, that's what I'm saying. As a community member, I don't like it, because now,
you're missing half the chat.
I have to monitor both chat rooms in order to participate in the conversation. And if I think of something I want to add in the community, do I post it in both chat rooms? It just starts to get messy and complicated.
Yeah, sure. I was excited because I thought I was going to be able to actually. We got the Podcast Helper Facebook page. It's just dormant. I left Facebook mostly. The only reason I'm on is just I don't use it, so the page doesn't get used as well, which I feel bad but even when I shared stuff to the page, Facebook didn't share it. So it's like, okay, a very popular post, half of the people who said I want to see these posts don't see it. So super annoying. But I was excited. I was like, look, if I can push this to Facebook, I'll sort of wake that up at the same time. But as you said, Dave, I got to use another app, because I set it up, but I had to choose. But Daniel, that's a great point, because it's like you're sort of splitting. But it's like it's tough, because by not doing it, I'm just excluding the other community. Like, so what's worse, right? Like, what's worse? Not going to them at all and saying, well, you got to come over to here if you want it.
Well,
or
are
just
you
going
excluding them, though?
Because I chose to go to YouTube instead of, if I can go to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, why wouldn't I do that? You make a point for why I might not want to do it, but which is worse, not doing it, making the choice to not simulcast.
If there's someone in your community, do you think they're really not going to watch live if they want to, simply because you're not on Facebook or you're not on YouTube? Or
probably not, but
when you're not on?
But maybe they don't subscribe and they don't get notifications from YouTube. I mean, I'm just saying just for argument's sake, if I can do it, is it not worth it doing it because I'm splitting up the chats? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know I could see the chat because I was the administrator from Facebook, but the people in YouTube couldn't.
Right.
And that's what Heather's saying in the chat room. And I was like, yeah, and it was weird. And when I have my own special admin chat box on Restream that will go out to all of us, so I can post to all the chat rooms, but not everybody else can. So it's kind of a weird thing. And I set it up so that my /live goes to the YouTube page. So when people go to that, I'm kind of sending them to YouTube because I kind of want a big consolidated chat room because I want everybody to get everything. It's just one of those things where right now they just can't quite get Facebook to work.
I think it's also, I'm preparing the next, a whole new course on SEO for podcasters. And one of there are two terms I've come up with I'm using in there are your visitors and your returners. The visitors are those, I think that's the term I used, are those who are coming to your podcast. No, first timers, newcomers. That's the word, newcomers.
I want a better word for returners. Those
I know,
are
I do
subscribers.
too. But I didn't want to use the word subscriber.
Or community. I don't know. There's
something
there's a
that's
better
already
word.
known
I don't
word.
know what it is, but there's a better word.
I might come up with
You'll get there. You'll get there.
But,
Repeat offenders.
Repeat offenders is
two words,
so much better.
So
Parolees.
Facebook, multi-streaming to different platforms might be good for newcomers because then you're more likely to get discovered, but it's not so good for your returners. I think for your returners, for your community that you already have, I think having a single place for them to go is better. But then again, we have nicely smaller audiences where we have a community that we can participate in and people in our community know each other. Whereas if one of these top podcasters were to live stream, the chat room would be going by so fast that no one could really participate. There wouldn't feel like there's a community. Then it would feel more like a broadcast. Then maybe separate chat rooms would make more sense. I don't know.
I have done that, Ray, with StreamYard, where you go to click on somebody to put them on the screen, their chat, to bring it up. And in the time it takes to move your mouse, somebody leaves another comment and you end up putting the wrong comment on the screen because the chat room's going crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a very popular. People are talking about OBS. I don't know. How do you bring multiple people? See, the thing is, what I love about the thing is no one did it better than Google Hangouts for me. But these guys are close because here's the thing. I set this up to go to YouTube and it just did it for me, which is fantastic. I thought it would be more of a pain than that. I just want to be able to give a link. We bring other people. It oftentimes is their first interaction. A lot of people who have been on the roundtable, they're like, I've never tried Hangouts before. It was their first time. It's got to be a link. And it's got to be like, all I have to do is say, allow my mic and my webcam, right? I don't want that. I don't want the tech to ever really get in the way of bringing people in. And quite honestly, it just needs to be easy. I don't know how OBS brings in multiple people. And I use OBS. I just use it today at work, but it's janky. I love it because it's free. And there's a couple, there are other solutions.
OBS and Wirecast, Ecamm Live and such, those are streaming only apps. So whatever you want to do to, quote, bring someone in, unquote, you have to basically build that yourself to say, capture this window or capture this other video source, combine these things, set up your scene like this. Whereas here on StreamYard, you press a button and it switches our layouts. You didn't have to make that layout ahead of time. It just, boom, there we are. We're in vertical video now. Now we're in landscape mode with the tiles. Now it's, just back and forth. And you didn't have to think about that. You didn't have to set that up ahead of time. It just did it. Whereas with OBS, any of these other live streaming things, you have to set that up all quite manually.
Yeah. I think the only thing I'd like to see from StreamYard is automatic switching. That's it. I really did I liked on the roundtable when someone was talking, the screen was theirs. Now it could be that way if I sit here and switch them, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm hosting, it's fine. But that doesn't seem like hard tech. And it seems like since it's so well established, a no-brainer for a service that this is what they do. So I would expect that to happen from StreamYard.
They seem pretty responsive. I know Ross from something StreamYard Universe Stream.
Oh,
Mm.
is
Ross
it the
Brand?
same Ross that was also Mr. Hangout? Like I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Captain
so he's-
Hangout,
he
Ross.
switched, yeah. Ross, yeah.
I'm so glad he never said, "Hey, I'm really big on Google Hangouts."
Yeah, I believe
that
it's
guy.
Live
Yeah.
Streaming Universe.
Yes, live stream universe.
Live Stream Universe. Yeah. He is doing a podcast for StreamYard. And so they seem very open to suggestions. In fact, every time you'll see when you get out of this StreamYard session, it'll say, "Hey, how was everything? Any suggestions?" So feel free to
Right.
go introduce automatic switching.
Yeah. Well, Beauty Bubbles says I can tell you that I sent Gage, someone I assume at StreamYard, the link to your stream and the response and attentiveness is there for you. So sounds like maybe Beauty Bubble is in the community, like at some point, some way.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't recognize the name. So
Bandrew's
I
got a
think
great point.
Blab did that too, right? That like a lot of times someone from Blab would enter, like they would come in and like be in the room when we streamed, right? I think that would happen. So
Ross Brand for anyone screaming at-
Brand, yes, Ross Brand, of course, yes. But he was because he did a ton of stuff for Hangouts, like that was
Yeah.
his right. So that's live streaming is his thing, obviously.
Yeah.
And Ross really focuses on that. So I mean, yeah, but go to the new. This is it. I mean, I don't see any competitors. It's not a very competitive space.
BeLive.tv. I couldn't remember that earlier.
Yes, yeah.
BeLive.tv.
Be Live, yes, that's the one big. The Callie, oh no, I'm sorry, Luria.
Luria.
Yes, and Dave. That's their. They use that a lot, I think.
And I'll have to see if there's what the difference is. Because I started to use that. And again, I had this weird thing where I kept like squiggling out on these live things that it turned out was my router. So I could actually go back to Be Live and give it a shot. Bandrew has a great quote here. Go ahead.
Is it not? It's not what I have on the screen. Or is it?
You have Bandrew's thing
Yeah.
here, but I think multi-streaming
Who did you say?
may actually
Andrew is his name.
No, I know. I thought.
Podcastage. Yeah, that's the comment, I think.
Okay.
Dave was
Yeah,
referring
That's what I'm
to.
looking for.
Yeah, he says multi-streaming may actually hurt because algorithms like popular videos. And if you have 10 viewers and 5 of them are on YouTube and 5 of them on Facebook, you don't look as popular. Whereas if you sent everybody to YouTube's, then YouTube might go, that seems to be more popular.
I think the same question arises about discovery. Like if people are if people is Facebook is the thing, is where they spend their time, they may never know about you. And maybe they'll come over to YouTube, but if that's what you really want. But I'd rather just be where people are. I get it though. If the algorithm doesn't promote your video, your discovery suffers too. But in the day of algorithms, it's a tough choice.
It's about the same price. BeLive.tv. They have a free version that allows you 3 shows per month, 5 assets to overlay, 2 selected brand colors, and up to 2 people on the screen. If you go to $25 a month, it's up to 4 people on the screen. You can customize your design, add your logo, and you can have unlimited shows. And of course, that's if it's billed annually. I hate that forever. It's $30 a month if it's billed monthly, so it's actually more expensive than StreamYard if you pay for it.
What's StreamYard? We do 2 of these a month. So even in Squadcast, while I love them, it's gonna cost, and I get it. It keeps you around, and they are going to come out with a sort of use case tier, which I'm a huge proponent. And I was telling them they needed to do, and they're going to do it, I believe. But it's we know this is a cheap community in terms of I don't want to spend money on that if I'm not going to use it that much. And that
Paying
includes
monthly,
me.
and StreamYard is $25 a month.
Yeah. See, I'm not interested in paying $25 a month. I guess
the reason I did is when I was using Chatwing, and then Chatwing went out of business, and I was using, I think, Chat Roll or something like that, and they were $20 a month, and then I was using YouTube to stream, and so I was like, well, hold on a second. If I'm going to pay $20 for a chat box, I'll just pay $25 to StreamYard, and I get Google's chat, and then they make it super easy to live stream. What is the about, Daniel?
Well, that chat ring actually went out of business, their domain now redirects to chatroll.com. I wonder if
Yeah.
it was an acquisition or they just decided, meh, we'll redirect you guys.
Eric says Discord isn't bad, and I keep hearing this, but I'm like, how does I don't? The problem with me is I just don't know how these things work. Like I use Discord, but I've never used it in a video sense. And then
I've joined a couple Discord communities, and that's one of those things where you have to go in and definitely mark how you want notified.
Yeah.
Because you can really get just a ton of like, you know, especially if they have a spot, a channel or whatever it's called in Discord to like, be sure to list your new episodes here. So like every 10 minutes you're getting, you know, that the, you know, Flipper show is on or Flipper podcast, Flipper Remembered podcast. And
Well, Discord is basically like Slack, and it
Yeah.
has the live streaming built in. And so you have to create a community if you want people to be able to watch your Discord. Or can you can't put that Discord stream out somewhere else, can you? Like to YouTube Live?
I've never even sniffed
That's-
Discord. I've only used it as a
more important.
part of a community. I've never used it. So that,
Yeah.
Zoom, Nick is asking here, Zoom is a webinar. If you pay, I think it's $50 a month for their webinar. It's a lot like go to
Sounds like
meeting,
webinar, though.
go to webinar, and that requires people to download a file and then start it, just like go to meeting.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah, and then, but it is pretty cool. I've been on some webinars with Zoom webinar, but people have to sign up. It's not something where you can just give them a link and they show up and you start playing. You have to log in to see, which for me is kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah, the key is nothing else. You don't have to bring up anything else unless it cures a problem that
Right.
StreamYard's giving us. Like I don't know. This is super easy. Like it's easy for me to bring someone in. It's Hangouts on Air. Like it really is without the switching. I mean, I didn't have to do anything. Although you know what? Because of the way I do this on the website. So normally we're at podcastersroundtable.com/live and I have to do some trickery and I just need the YouTube URL to do that. I don't know if I get that ahead of time.
You can't. Because you're
That's
not
the
live.
Only problem.
Yeah. So what I do now on Saturday morning, and I got this from Jim Cullison, is we just start early and we just say, hey, if you're watching us now, you're watching the pre-show. I go over, I get the YouTube thing, and then I redirect that from Ask the Podcast Coach.
I hate that though, unless you're going to trim and post because that
it's
kills
a pain in the butt.
YouTube video. That kills.
You could do that differently because in StreamYard you can stream out to just an RTMP destination, right?
Right.
So you can schedule your YouTube Live, you get your stream key, you enter that in, and YouTube Live now even lets you just have a preset stream key that this is always your stream key for this particular settings. And so then you could stream from StreamYard via RTMP, but it might not pull in the comments automatically in StreamYard then.
So, okay, can I embed StreamYard? Because chat is a big issue, right? I figured out how to get the YouTube chat onto the live page. So we always did the call to action was always podcastersroundtable.com/live. That's where we are. That's where the chat is because I embedded the YouTube chat, even though it was really just YouTube. But we'd have to be here. I mean, this is where the chat is, right? We couldn't do, I guess I could.
Well, and the chat's coming from YouTube. That's the tricky part.
Is it?
Well, because if you want people to, like, let's say you sent them to the link where you can see the chat, that's great. But if somebody wants to add to the chat, they have to go over to YouTube. Right? Because I can see the chat, but that's because I think that's maybe because I'm a participant that's not an administrator. I'm a co-host.
I'm assuming we can't. I mean, you would embed the video on your live page. I don't think you can do that, right? You can't embed
after it starts.
Yeah. After it starts.
But if you've scheduled it, then you get that embed code ahead of time. So you can embed for YouTube Live.
Okay. So I would the same thing. All right.
It's going to take some finagling.
Yeah,
I like that idea because I would ditch Twitch. No, look at me rhyming like Twitch. That's right. Thank you. To make it easy, because I number one, I loved it when I had the YouTube embed because then I was sending people back to my website. which happen to have a link to buy my book and subscribe and all that other stuff on the side. So
Well, look at the plugin that I
Yeah.
helped enhance that we use for International Podcast Day, where it's I think it's just called YouTube Live or something. I can send you the exact link, but it will automatically embed whatever is your next upcoming event or whatever event is live right now. It auto refreshes. It doesn't do that for the chat room though. So you'd have to always disable the YouTube chat and use your own chat on your site, but that might be acceptable. Now it'd be cool if he updated it so that it could also do that same kind of live refreshing even for the chat room. Other than that, it gets messy. No, that wouldn't be so cool.
Answering Chris's question here is, do I do a multi-end producing of the roundtable or just take what you get? I do multi-end that I have typically, which only means, actually it means a lot, because what I do is I capture, you can only capture 2 channels. Obviously at this point, I got everyone coming from online, right? So Daniel and Dave are mixed, and then I capture myself separate because I can. But the key to that is, and I always was on YouTube, because the recording is going to get recompressed, the audio turns to mush. It's not that good. But when you capture in real time over Hangouts on Air, and especially if you're using studio quality, it was at least 96 kilobits, probably 128, sounded fantastic. If you listen to the roundtable, it sounds pretty damn good. And then I don't do much processing on that, but I do a little stuff in the editor. So, and it's the roundtable. We're talking to podcasters. They generally have good microphones. So the audio is great. If you capture audio in real time, and I'm hearing the same thing here, you guys are coming across as good as you would come across if we got on any other VoIP system. I mean, it's not being degraded when I'm capturing it live. So the beauty of the Rodecaster is I would just hit the damn big record button here, and I am done. I'm done. I will have my multi-end, and YouTube is the backup. So if something goes wrong, and it has in the past, I will rip the audio from the video, and that'll get uploaded to the podcast feed. So
can we give StreamYard support the link to come in so we can just like, hey, when are you going to make it possible to embed StreamYard into my website?
but do they want that?
See, back up though, that if you embed StreamYard, then they have to provide the streaming bandwidth. And that's why I think, Blab, they ran out of money, I think, because of their massive bandwidth bill. All that StreamYard has to do is handle the bandwidth between the 3 of us going to StreamYard, and then from StreamYard out to whatever destinations. So if we have 1 million people watching this, it's no more extra bandwidth for StreamYard.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's answer this one.
Not much.
Going on?
How much? Hanging out, just chilling. Gothic.
Just chilling.
Welcome. All right, that was easy. Cool. More questions. I love it.
Have we ever done an AMA Podcasters Roundtable?
No.
Oh,
No.
be interesting.
That could go horribly wrong.
Whoa. We got Hacker Man. I don't know if you guys see. Hacker Man has joined us. He's not. Can you guys see what's in the in our interface?
No,
I just see me, and it says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you, but
What?
you have the green room
You can't see the I guess what is the green room? All the little boxes underneath
at the
here.
bottom.
no, we don't
That's all
see that.
you.
Oh my God. Well, if you're interested, Hacker Man has joined us. I wish I could. Can you share screenshots
That might be
mask
StreamYard support.
and headphones?
Yeah, let me try this because I've got
Basically
this.
robbed.
I'm going
by
to
it.
try sharing screens just for giggles, so you can see what this looks like. I'll share my Facebook because why not? And
Dave Jackson screen. So I have to put that on.
right, and if you do that, you'll see what happens. Isn't that cool, Ray? That's fun right there.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it does that automatically. Then
I mean, we had share screen on Hangouts on Air, but
yeah, we didn't use it a whole lot, but it's just to show you what it does.
Nicely animate like this. The only thing this is missing is the little sound effects to go choo, 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 as it.
Ooh, see, there's us watching us. So, yeah.
I would show you what I'm seeing, but why would I? Why? It's like the guy who runs naked on the field. The cameras don't turn to that guy. Like,
okay, that's probably not StreamYard support then.
Yeah.
no, I don't think. No, not naked. I'm saying on any sporting event when a person runs streaks on the field,
A streaker.
They do not. The cameras don't show it for a reason.
Boy, now we're bringing back my childhood.
What?
A lot of streaking.
Were
huh,
you
dude?
a streaker as a kid?
I actually was a streaker in 6th grade. We went streaking, but yeah, back in the
Nice.
well, you got to remember, I was born in '65, so when I'm like 10, it's 75, and everybody was just running across every TV show, the Oscars, whatever it was. A lot of it was probably planned. They're always naked. Somebody's running across the football field naked. It was just like I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah,
what. It wasn't like a political statement. It was just like I'm going to run across. I want to show everybody my junk, and you would just take off your clothes and run around.
Dave, does this ever happen where people pop in to the green room that are not? So someone was here before everyone, and he was like, "Hey," and he was like, and I was like, "I don't know how you got here."
Well, I make that public. I have on my show, I make a /join, and I put because I'm asking people, please come into the
Well,
round
apparently
table.
something's public. It does say public because people are just joining.
Oh,
I'm not-
because we put the link to the StreamYard support wanted to
what?
check our bandwidth. So we in the chat room, because and Daniel beat me to it. I was going to put the same link, and I think the link
That's the link to join.
I think that is the link to join.
No, but someone. So here, when we started this, where is it? I can't go back to the beginning. Someone was here before anyone, and I'm like, I don't know how. Before we were live on YouTube, there was just someone here.
So like what's happening right now
Look on Slack.
apparently is
You were just joining.
yeah, the link has somehow gotten out, but the cool thing is that of these people who
Hacker
apparently
man.
figured this out. I mean, I thought that was a StreamYard support person was jumping in and that was their name, but apparently
No.
not.
That's it. It's the link we put in because I see it's the same link.
I can't
we-
remember who
is it?
either, which is crazy.
The
Is it-
hacker man. The hacker man can.
Oh, wait, the joint. So you're saying that public URL is
Somehow
also
people
the
can
join?
somehow people can join
Yeah.
the stream.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's very
Well,
weird.
it's not the same link that's probably
It's the link I sent you guys, but
Yeah,
how that got out. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, it's a public link. I think.
Oh,
So here's the thing.
oh,
Oh, you know what's so funny? In the top,
I'm
it says
sorry.
alternatives to Hangout on Air, but it also says public.
that was
You,
me.
Daniel, put the link. That's what it is. All right.
There.
But I swear someone was here before you were even here. So it happened.
yeah. We
Someone was
posted
in
the
the chat. Someone was in the chat before you guys showed up, and I don't know how they would have ever got here. I didn't ever post a StreamYard. I guess somehow on StreamYard, I must be in the community or something.
You know what?
Ackerman's filming
Oh
this. So
man, this hasn't happened in a while. We should celebrate
this
this.
is like Blab.
I
It's like Blab.
got scammed.
They social
Oh,
engineered you.
from support. Yeah.
Yeah, it's whoever's in the chat that said username was StreamYard support. That is not StreamYard
StreamYard support.
That's just someone saying that.
People are just jumping in like crazy, by the way, now. Like I'm
Nice. Oh, maybe it's a good time to call it.
getting whacked. Yeah.
I
We're
did
an
delete
hour.
the link, but yeah, pointless. Hey, we might have the most popular thing on StreamYard now.
That's right. We're trending on StreamYard. Is there like a front page StreamYard? Like what's live?
No, because it's not it's not a
That's right.
social platform.
I will say that's weird that when you want to log into StreamYard, like they put some sort of cookies on your machine or something. And if you've somehow restarted or cleared your cookies, you have to then have them send you a link.
Yeah.
So you can log in. And I'm like, I guess that's probably a security thing. It's kind
They
of a
said
pain in
they
the
saw
butt.
too many other services getting hacked or something.
Yeah. So
You got social engineered. Is that so? In the private chat, because they're in the thing, they can now talk to you. What's more surprising to me is that I have no control over people who enter. So I think that's a bigger problem than anything else. You should be able to. There's got to be a boot feature.
Yeah.
Not that I care. Like it's just people sitting there.
right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
trolling us in the chat room.
Yeah.
Is the chat getting trolled?
Well,
Oh
in
yeah,
our
look at our private chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
private
as-
chat. Yeah.
He's
as
he's
streamers,
deploying
we have our own.
malware as we speak. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you.
I don't know how.
Yeah, because you can't kick it. Have you kicked him out?
You
I guess he
can't.
just comes right back. Yeah, down at the bottom, you can say remove.
Remove what? Where?
The guy in the green room.
Where's that option? I don't see it.
It should be at the bottom. Let me go back. I thought at the little square at the bottom.
you can remove from stream, right?
No, but you can't.
remove them
You
from-
can't block. Well, there's another feature we need.
I mean, I don't care. It's entertaining. Fine. Join us. Hang
Yeah,
out.
and they're not actually doing anything. It's not like the days of Blab where they could just keep coming in and
Yeah, they could jump in.
Yeah.
Dr. K or Dr.
Yeah, they to pub test. Yes, they have a lobby function.
Yeah.
So I think you can have up to, is it 6 people
Yes.
in StreamYard? So, oh, that would be really ugly.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? We've sufficiently tested this. I think
Yeah.
StreamYard definitely works. I don't know how long the free. I mean, obviously, at some point, I'll probably have to. I mean, this is the answer. It really is. It's not. It was super simple. It
We'll
does
have
the
to-
things we need it to do.
We'll have to start that Patreon to work up to $25 a month
Sure.
to.
We could cover the. You're right. We could cover. With
Well,
the
do we? So the 25 a month would remove the StreamYard watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Would-
That's the thing is at this point. Well, they say they don't limit the stream for free, so we don't know what's really going to be put behind the paywall.
6 on no unlimited broadcasts.
It says
Bandrew
right
says-
now it doesn't get doesn't
don't-
Oh
not
yeah,
Yeah.
limits
FAQ.
may be introduced in the future. And
Two keyboards.
I forget her name. Oh, Eileen earlier said that those lower thirds that you have, you do get other templates that you can use for those
For-
lower thirds.
You mean for the comments?
Yes, if you're on a paid plan.
Podcast says don't forget to smash that like button for the trolls. Ring that bell.
Oh, I'm hating you right now, Ray.
Slap the slappers. Like watch all kinds of channels. They do all the things. Bass slapper.
In honor of Bandrew, I throw this box in your honor.
Oh, dude, I need a box to. Damn,
So,
Cheryl, you're gonna piss off Cheryl, Dave.
that's it.
If Dave, so if you got that, you're really.
You're a big Bandrew fan. I was listening to him literally as we speak. What's on my Overcast? Bandrew says, giving me all I need to know about YouTube, with a hint of snarkiness. So
I just see HD on that box.
Yeah, I don't know what else it is.
I probably
Doesn't
just
matter.
backdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought my cheap Xbox gaming headset thanks to a review from Bandrew, because I was interested, being a podcaster, I was interested in what gaming headset is my voice going to sound clearest through that's under this particular budget. Because, some of these gaming headsets are, he's very high school. You can't hear what's happening. So found a cheap $20 headset.
He is my go-to. If somebody asks me about a microphone and I've never heard of it, I just go to Podcastage and type it in, and there it is. And it's
Dude,
like right now.
See what I'm saying? Because I mean, Hackerman is he's doing things. I mean, he's putting on a show. I know I'm the only one who can see it. It's wasted on me. I'm just telling you, man.
I'm just waiting for his social security number. I've asked him for it. I've asked him to send us money via money order, and then we'll let him leave when he does that. But
he's got a one-person audience. I mean, at least if you guys could see the green room.
Yeah.
Dave's really entertained by the private chat. But.
So he's our hostage, really. I mean, he thinks he's got us. No, we are scamming him.
Please bring
That's
pizza
right.
pronto. Please bring pizza pronto.
Pronto, yes.
Please bring pizza pronto. All right, we're gonna end with that. That's my plosive test. That's Bandrew. Please bring pizza pronto. Andrew should have been here with us, man.
Should have.
Andrew, don't ever hang out in the chat again without being on video. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, there's still pants, Chris. That's why we're out of here. I'm bored.
Not for long though.
Not for long. It's been threatened. The hacker man's got all kinds of threats. So I hope you join us at the next boring test out StreamYard.
Not official, yes.
Well, let's hope that the next time will be more interesting than this.
Yeah, we'll do a real roundtable. But till then, let's play ourselves out with a little music.
Whoa. Is this copyrighted music? Do you have the license to play this music?
I'm sure this has to be royalty free, right? And the Rode's got to package it.
Oh, it's on the Rodecaster?
Yeah, this is Rodecaster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably.
But YouTube, I mean, that doesn't mean the YouTube bot won't pick it up.
Otherwise, I was going to start evaluating the music and critiquing it so that we could get away with fair use.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Or doing a parody, or both.
This is if you ever wanted to sound like the Foo Fighters we're the Foo Fighters. We're open for your show. It's Christopher Walken, Foo Fighters. This would be it. It's very Foo Fighters. All right, Dave. We're out of here. Oh, Foo Fighters. You guys, I'm telling you. You're gonna want
I'm looking for something that can make a cowbell sound.
Foo Fighters. Guys, I'm telling you. Go play the diapers. Yeah, that's a good cowbell. Best ending ever. I'm gonna use the YouTube trim feature to leave just this. All right. Dave, where can we find your podcast?
Schoolofpodcasting.com.
Very nice. Podcastroundtable.com. Sure to return. By the way, Hackerman playing the drums to it. No one can see it but me. But the Hackerman is playing the drums. I can confirm this. With a headset and a ski mask, I really feel like I'm being robbed, but it's all right.
We've probably made him feel more loved than anyone else on StreamYard tonight.
He's enjoying the stream, I'm telling you. You guys, Dave. I'm Dave, the Foo Fighters. Dave, don't go anywhere. Oh, that's our cue. We have to leave. All right, everyone. Love you. I'm ending this broadcast. Wave goodbye. Oh, it wasn't real, but we still did. We still got to wave goodbye. Oh, the Hacker Man wave goodbye. Very nice.